The Red Devils Circus, a hilarious horror show at Manchester United. Picture this. It's August 2023, and Manchester United fans are buzzing like kids on a sugar high, dreaming of a season where the Red Devils finally reclaim their throne. Erik Ten Hag has a League Cup in his pocket from the previous year, a third-place finish under his belt, and new toys like Rasmus Højlund and Mason Mount to play with. There's talk of a title challenge, a deep Champions League run, and the return of glory days. Fast forward to May 2024, and it's less of a rumble, more of a stumble. Straight into an 8th-place Premier League finish, their worst since 1989-90, when mullets were still fashionable. What happened? Injuries, tactical meltdowns, disastrous transfers, and an identity crisis that turned Old Trafford from the theatre of dreams into a full-blown comedy club. Welcome to the Football Scientist, where we break down football like no one else. Today, we take a deep dive into Manchester United's catastrophic season. From their record-breaking injury crisis to their Champions League humiliation, their tactical confusion, and their last-minute FA Cup miracle that somehow saved the campaign from complete and utter disaster. Buckle up. This is Manchester United, the 2023-24 tragicomedy. The Injury Ward, The Walking Dead, FC. United's season started with big ambitions, but soon turned into a physiotherapy experiment. By the time the season ended, over 60 different players had suffered injuries, turning United's squad into a glorified hospital ward. The numbers behind the madness: 1,584 days lost to injuries, the worst in the Premier League. 14 different centre-back pairings, because who needs consistency, right? Just 5 unchanged starting X's all season, because planning ahead is overrated. At one point, United was so desperate for defenders that Harry Maguire, yes, the man fans wanted sold, became an essential starter. Lisandro Martinez was supposed to be the defensive rock, but spent more time on the treatment table than the pitch. Luke Shaw and Tyrell Malacia, they might as well have been on loan to the NHS. Ten Hag described it as swimming with your hands tied behind your back. In reality, it was more like trying to row a boat with a spoon while it's on fire. Tactical genius or tactical disaster? Ten Hag had big ideas, high pressing, structured build-up, attacking football. What he got instead was chaos, a backline that defended like traffic cones, and a midfield that had the structural integrity of wet paper. The defensive nightmare. 667 shots conceded, more than Sheffield United, a team that got relegated. 15 matches where United conceded 3 or more goals. That's half the season spent getting battered. A negative goal difference -1 for the first time in 34 years. The 3-0 demolition by Liverpool in September was an all-time low. United's midfield and defense played hide and seek, and Ten Hag picked up his 4th booking of the season for arguing with officials. His face, a perfect summary of the season. Pure disbelief. Bruno Fernandes and Rasmus Højlund had their moments, both scoring 10 league goals, but it was like putting perfume on a dumpster fire. Transfer market madness, panic buys and wasted millions. If United's 2023 transfer window was a TV show, it'd be called How to Spend £145 Million and Get Worse. The big failed signings. Antony, £85 million. Came with Brazilian flair, played like a budget Jadon Sancho. Mason Mount, £55 million. Arrived as an attacking solution, disappeared like a ghost. Casemiro, £60 million. Turned from defensive beast to a walking yellow card machine. Sofian Amrabat, loan, was supposed to fix the midfield, ended up warming the bench. The worst part? No proper striker until Højlund arrived late. It was less strategic recruitment and more drunk online shopping at 2 a.m, while Arsenal and City built well-balanced squads. Champions League embarrassment and Premier League freefall. Europe? A full-blown disaster. 1 win, 4 losses, 15 goals conceded. Finished bottom of Group A behind Bayern, Galatasaray, and Copenhagen. More goals conceded than any other English club in the competition. Domestically, United were just as bad. 17 league losses, the most in club history. A record 14 away defeats, because why travel well when you can collapse? An 8th place finish, closer to relegation than a title race by December. At their worst, United played like a team who just met in the parking lot before the match. The idea of them competing for major trophies felt laughable. The FA Cup miracle, how United saved face at Wembley. Then, just as United's season seemed unsalvageable, football did what football does best, provided a ridiculous plot twist. May 25th, 2024, FA Cup final, Manchester United versus Manchester City. City were expected to destroy United. Instead, United pulled off one of the biggest shocks of the season, winning 2-1. How did they do it? Kobbie Mainoo, the teenage wonder kid, stole the show. Alejandro Garnacho punished City's high line with a deadly counter-attack. City dominated possession, but United defended like warriors. Suddenly, Ten Hag wasn't a dead man walking. He was the FA Cup winning hero. It didn't erase the season's disasters, but it gave United fans one night of pure, unfiltered joy. The aftermath. What's next for United? As the dust settled, Sir Jim Ratcliffe took a 27.7% stake in United, promising a massive shake-up. Ineos launched a full review of the club, investigating the injury crisis, the failed transfers, the tactical confusion. Ten Hag's future hung in the balance. Some fans wanted him sacked. Others saw him as the only man crazy enough to fix this mess. So what was the final verdict on United's season? A squad held together by duct tape. A manager juggling optimism and pure stress. A transfer policy straight out of a horror movie. 8th place in the league, humiliated in Europe. And somehow, an FA Cup triumph. Manchester United remains one of football's biggest soap operas. A club that can be both a laughingstock and a giant killer in the same season. The real question is, can they get back to the top? Or is this just their new reality? Chaos, drama, and unexpected miracles. Subscribe to The Football Scientist for more in-depth football analysis. What was the funniest or most painful moment of United's season? Drop your thoughts in the comments.